I want to make it clear my marriage is now over and I'm looking to get divorced. As many of you suggested, my wife has been having an affair with her sister's soon-to-be husband. It's been going on for a while apparently, so I feel like a complete idiot right now. I'm sure you want to know what happened, so I'll start from the beginning. After I made my first post, I thought the people saying affair just didn't understand what I was saying, so I was focused on the advice that was offered. The day after that, I sat my wife down and tried to talk about it using the suggestions people made. To begin with, I talked about how I felt we were losing each other and that maybe we should try marriage counseling. Also, I suggested we could start planning for a big vow renewal when we hit our 10-year anniversary. When it came to the dress, like some suggested, I asked about the color, saying I wanted us to match. Honestly, I thought that would have worked, but it didn't. The only result was I got shouted at. She said things like vow renewals were stupid and marriage counseling is a con. Plus, when it came to the dress, there was actual screaming about it being a surprise. On the dress point, by the way, the story always was that it's at a friend's house, so I or our son didn't go peeking to try and find it. Needless to say, after that, I started to get worried. But embarrassingly, in spite of what you were all telling me, I still didn't think affair. I thought it was going to be some petty dress stunt. After that, I wasn't going to try talking to her again about it, so I went to the maid of honor and my mother-in-law. I told them what I was worried about, so they agreed to help. Mother-in-law promised me she would talk to my wife to see if she could get an idea of what was going on, while the maid of honor agreed to go dress shopping with me. The idea there being I could get my wife a wedding appropriate dress as a gift for the fight we seemed to be having, and then make sure the dress was available when the wedding came around in case my wife did do something. I'm impressed with all of these pool safe options, but I find it a little nuts that you have to go and do all of this stuff. Why can't people just have some social decorum, you know? Dress shopping with maid of honor was actually fun, to be honest. She's a single mom and her daughter is only 2 years younger than my son. So we've connected because of that in the past. In a way, the maid of honor is kind of a friend I don't see a lot, which is why me and her talked a lot while dress shopping. Me posting on Reddit became a subject of conversation, so I showed her what people were saying. So that's how she found out about the idea my wife was having an affair. Afterwards, I thought everything was going to be fine with my plan for the dress, but unlike me, the maid of honor wasn't being an idiot and did pay attention. You see, the maid of honor's dad is actually a big-time divorce lawyer. So apparently after we talked, she talked to him, and he talked to people he knew. And a few days after me and maid of honor had gone dress shopping, her dad and her contacted me. Not only did they show proof of my wife's affair, but they also explained how my wife was planning to divorce, having apparently already started talking to a lawyer of her own. Oh my. Ooh, this escalated very quickly. I don't know exactly what my wife's plan was going to be if I hadn't found out, but needless to say, things pretty much blew up after that because maid of honor told my sister-in-law after she told me, and I'm told there was apparently a lot of screaming. I'd like to say I confronted my wife about everything, but honestly, I still have yet to see her since maid of honor told me. That day, I packed me and my son up and got out of the house, and ever since then, me and him have been staying with maid of honor in an effort to avoid the carnages. So far, it seems no one on the bride's side knew, but apparently a few on the groom's side did. So there's been all kinds of drama about that. Plus, apparently my father-in-law has said he's cutting my soon-to-be ex off from the money she's always complained about, so again, drama. Worth pointing out here that she has called me to shout about ruining things for her somehow, but hasn't once asked about where her son is. I've been rendered speechless, guys. This is great. On that point, I would say him and the maid of honor daughter get along great, so he has someone to play with here at the very least. Plus, she really is a dear and is quite clearly trying to distract him, as I think the maid of honor is trying to do as well. I should also say here that her dad is helping me with the divorce. We had a prenup with an infidelity clause, so things should be okay, but he tells me these things can be dragged out. I don't really know what's going to happen, but it's a safe bet that my soon-to-be ex-wife's idea of petty revenge for some crazy reason has really blown up everything. Thank you again for the advice people gave me. Even if I was the idiot who didn't listen to see it myself, I do appreciate it. Okay, but to be fair, I am also flabbergasted that this has happened. So an interesting thing to note, this comment is very important. Do yourself a favor, get your own place and stop staying with maid of honor. Your ex will start saying you were actually cheating with maid of honor the whole time, and it will seem believable because you're living with her. And honestly, living with a kind, helpful woman when you're down could lead to accidents. Focus on your kids and your hobbies for a while. Don't immediately start dating. That's very good advice, and we do have one more update. Hi, I had my first therapist appointment today, and they thought updating here might be helpful for me, so here I am. Oh my goodness, even the therapists are telling people to come to my subreddit. I love it. To begin with, there are some things I'd like to clarify. First, maid of honor's dad, like many divorce lawyers, has private eyes he's working with. It was one of them who found proof of my soon-to-be ex-wife's affair. The man might be very eager to help me get out of my marriage due to the fact that his daughter was my sister-in-law's best friend and therefore has some skin in the game here. But he didn't break any ethical boundary. Second, I thought it would be obvious, but yes, my sister-in-law did call off the wedding. When she found out about the affair, she did call everything off. Also, I didn't mention this before, but the private investigator did find a picture of the dress my soon-to-be ex-wife was going to wear, and it was going to be red and extremely revealing. Okay, I had guessed red. Like, I wasn't guessing white solely for the fact that she was having an affair with the groom. Red makes sense. Sorry I didn't mention that last time when I made my post. I was also watching the kids, so I was a little distracted. Next, when it comes to maid of honor, I didn't mention this before because it didn't seem relevant, but she does have a boyfriend. Okay. It's a sort of new relationship. They aren't living together, but she's not single, and also he's a great guy. Quite often, maid of honor is out of the house being there for sister-in-law. He will come along and hang out with me and the kids while we build Legos or play dress up. He's even brought a friend of his along once or twice. All that being said, though, I have since moved me and my son out. That was always the plan. It just took me time to find a place I could start renting. In spite of the fact that maid of honor has a boyfriend, I'm not an idiot. I knew how it looked. I just wanted out of the house quickly, and staying with her to begin with was the best option I had. On that point, I'm told my ex and her lawyer are trying to challenge the prenup. Mine says everything is in my favor, though, so I'll need to wait, but it should break my way eventually. As far as my son is concerned, I'm told everything should be good there as well. I'll probably have to allow some kind of visitation, but it will be minor. I'll also add that my father-in-law and mother-in-law have since contacted me to talk about everything, and they say they're happy to help me manage stuff like the visitation in the future, so I don't have to see my ex. Worth pointing out here that they are proving to be really good parents. They're not refusing to talk to my ex, apparently, but they have made it clear she's cut off from any family money now. I suspect this will mean she will go no contact with them in spite of their offer to stay in contact. But that's where things stand with them. Lastly, I feel I should mention the term my therapist mentioned when I was talking about how I met my ex. Apparently back then was what was called love bombing. When I met my ex in college, I had dated before, but she was actually my first real relationship. So when she was showering me with all this affection and wanted to spend so much time together, it really felt good. Afterward, I wanted to make her happy and try to get us as a couple back to how we had been when we started. But I'm told it was a pattern of control, and looking back now, I do see it. Well, I am glad to hear that you got out of a clearly very terrible marriage. It turns out that everybody was right about the vindictiveness. Yeah, I have to say, I'm kind of annoyed with myself that I didn't see it. Not that I was making excuses for the behavior. It's just like, based on what he shared, it just didn't maybe it's really not normal to feel that way, honestly. Like, I just know personally, like with my wedding, I did notice that there was a lot of behavior that was kind of not fair to me. And I think a lot of that behavior came from comparison and not genuinely being happy for me. I will say that although I'm not going to totally end friendships and relationships because of that, I have sort of taken a step back from those relationships. What was I supposed to do? Go full bridezilla? Obviously not. Everybody already is already. Yeah, it isn't normal to feel vindictive about someone getting married and someone being happy. I'll just say that. Someone's happiness does not negate your own self-worth. I'm even reading this book on evolutionary psychology right now, and it's literally ingrained, especially in women. People get jealous. It's a normal emotion, but what I'm saying is you do have to check yourself when those jealous feelings come up and ask why, and don't take it out on the people that you're jealous of.